Okay, welcome to episode 5 of Screening Out. My name's Jalen Kroger. I'm a culture reporter on the Film Beat. I'm joined by my co-host.
I'm Dixon Janney. I am also a culture reporter on the Film Beat. And this is the last episode to wrap up our Oscar Best Picture series. So it'll be this episode, and then we'll have our Oscar pre and post thoughts, just kind of on what we think is going to win, what actually won, and how we feel about it. And then we will start doing our next thing, which we're going to keep it a little bit of a surprise. We've got some big plans, though.
Exactly. Let's introduce the two movies we're talking about today. We're talking about our international features today. We're talking about The Secret Agent and Sentimental Value.
Yes. And which one would you like to start with today?
Let's start with Sentimental Value, the one out of Sweden. This film is fantastic. It is great on every single level.
It's stressful. If you have ever had any small disagreements with your family, you will somehow resonate with this. They cover a wide berth of small and humongous family arguments.
Yeah, those disagreements are bigger than we can even state in this podcast, but this film is just so emotionally beautiful with the way it connects with its characters. The way Stellan Skarsgård's character connects with Renee, I don't know how to say her name, I feel bad, with her character is just incredible. And it's one of these movies that sticks with you. You can't wash it off of you as much as you tried. I have not stopped thinking about this movie once I've seen it.
Yeah, I obviously was not in it and had nothing to do with it, but I feel guilty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those. It really does make you feel like that. It makes you feel guilty. It makes you feel gross, but then it makes you it breaks you down. It breaks you down. It builds you up, and it'll break you down again. And that's just what I think this film really succeeds at.
Yeah, like Jalen said, it's just really hard to kind of, I guess, wash your hands of this film. There's so many times in which I just get a family group chat message and I'm like, oh my God, this is just like Sentimental Value.
Yeah. And this movie's themes with the mental health aspect in this movie it's really touching. I'm glad that it takes it slow and it lets it build up in the story, but man, it hurts.
Yeah.
Man, this movie hurts.
It really, it hurts a lot, but it really kind of gives you the, you want to root for the well-being of these characters. And it just eventually, once that build up kind of finally starts to release, it's the first time in my seat where I finally felt like I wasn't just going to be crushed under the weight of gravity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This movie, that's a great way to put it. This movie's heavy. It's a very heavy movie. And as you go along, you pick up more and more of the story, and that will continue to weigh on you. And it really gets to a breaking point in this movie where it becomes too much for the characters, and even as an audience member, where it comes to a crescendo and it all kind of falls apart in a way.
Yeah, which was not ideal. During my movie experience, I just it was just, I had to sit in the dark for a little bit, but I don't know, just the like we had said, the acting, and I'm a sucker for a good movie that because the dad makes movies, and so it almost feels like there was a little bit of own insecurity in there, that really just kind of, it takes a vulnerable person to kind of write their own insecurities into a movie like that, and so you just kind of have to give it its props there.
And to get kind of meta, I think it's kind of a testament on the writing to how he's able to infuse these dark elements of the writer itself, but also the character. The character is writing a dark story, but you can tell that it comes from a dark place within the writer outside of the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's drawn from experience rather than I know a person like this.
Yeah.
You can tell that they have grappled with these themes themselves.
Mm-hmm. Elle Fanning in this movie is really good. I was kind of shocked to see that she got a supporting nom, because I didn't think that was going to happen, but I am kind of happy that it did happen.
Yeah, watching the movie, I was I really hope that there is an award for Elle Fanning to be at least motioned, and so I was definitely I was happy with what we received.
Sorry, I'm trying to find a pronunciation of this of this actress's name.
Okay.
Rainsby? Renee. Hold on, here we go. We got a YouTube video. We'll pull this up.
Put it in the mic. No free promo.
Norwegian, it is said as Renate Reinsve.
Reinsve. We'll go
Renate
Reinsve.
She is fantastic in this movie. She was great in The Worst Person in the World, another Joachim Trier movie. I'm glad to see that they collaborated again, and I hope they do it more in the future. She needs to be in more movies.
She does.
She was great in A Different Man, which was brutally robbed from the Oscars last year. But man, she just continues to prove how incredible of an actress she really is.
No, yeah, she deserves to be in so much more, especially after her performance in A Different Man and, now Sentimental Value. I like you were saying, I really hope we do get to see a lot more of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joachim Trier, his directing in this movie is really incredible. I'm fairly unfamiliar. I've only seen The Worst Person in the World, his other work, but man, they're great movies. I think he really has. I don't want to say he has a promising career ahead of him because I don't know. Maybe he's been doing this a long time and I have no idea. But I'm excited to see what else he does. I want to see what else he does in the future.
Yeah, I think what we can say is that he needs to be working all of the time.
Absolutely.
This man deserves no breaks because we need entertainment, and I hope he makes $1 billion.
Yeah, I hope he gets a blank check movie. I don't think that'll happen, but man, that would be awesome.
It would be awesome to see him make just whatever he feels like. I would love to go through his concept notes of what he's got, because I just think I think we're kind of scratching the surface on what this man can truly do.
Mm-hmm. And I hope this brings him even better actors and actresses to work with, because Elle Fanning's obviously an American actor, so hopefully he'll continue to work with more Americans, and if he doesn't, I will gladly. I'm not going to say no to being introduced to another Swedish actor.
Yeah, no, I think I just know that whoever he gets for these movies is going to kill it, and that's all you can really ask for. But it would be kind of nice to see a little bit more collaboration from overseas.
Yeah. Do you want to maybe move on to Brazil and talk about The Secret Agent?
Yeah, we're going to Brazil.
Screening Out goes to Brazil. The Secret Agent is a fantastic thriller movie. This movie is stressful. It kept me on the edge of my seat, and I was sweating. I don't know what else to say about this.
I think that this movie does such a good job about exploring the idea of memory and collective memory, and how even things that you think that perfectly, you might find out that you're actually completely wrong, which I think is where a lot of the stress in this movie comes from. Is I guess somewhat spoilers. He goes to this new city trying to escape and see his son again, and he expects it to be a safe haven, and it ends up being more dangerous than he ever would have thought. And I think that that's really, I don't know, it makes it exciting, because almost immediately you're like, okay, well, where is this going? And then boom, everything's happening.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of I don't want to say scary because it makes it seem like it's a horror movie, but this movie is kind of terrifying in a way. Mm-hmm. It's a thriller, but man, it's when that one guy's chasing Wagner Morris' character down, that was wild. When he's trying to shoot, oh man, this is just, I'm struggling with my words to talk about The Secret Agent.
Well, now me too. Dang. What was I going to say?
Well, I will say that this absolutely deserves to win Best International Feature, I think. Sentimental Value is fantastic. Let's not split hairs. So is Surratt, and it was just an accident. But man, is this movie great.
Yes. I would like to see I would like to see Secret Agent take the Oscar home. And I remembered what I was going to say earlier. Much like our own lives, this movie is a political thriller. So if you are at all interested in understanding the political climate of Brazil in the 70s, which is a little niche, but I promise you're in for much more than that. You should check this movie out.
Even if you're not interested in something like that, which I certainly am not, I was so glued to this movie. I know nothing about the context of this movie. You're placed in this little story of this guy's life, and it's just the most important moments of him, and that really touches on the ideas of memory. We only get a tiny glimpse of this guy's life, and we get that glimpse through the tapes that the people are transcribing.
Mm-hmm. Which is such a creative storytelling element. Like, not to give this film a big head. I mean, not that it doesn't deserve one, but it just like when you're watching it, you're kind of just like sitting in. It almost feels like you're like watching. I mean, I guess you're watching through a TV screen. I'm gonna stop. Oh my god.
But this movie makes you feel like you're reliving a memory through someone else's memory. You know what I mean? Because you're obviously these people, when they listen to these tapes, they're not there in the moment. They're just getting the secondhand information, I guess. They're years down the line trying to piece what happened together through audio. But so it's just kind of touches on this idea of what even could be possibly true, I guess, in a way. Because these people obviously weren't there when these events happened, I guess.
Yeah, it really just adds to the levels of like, not misunderstanding, but like, I think this movie's like fear that it's really trying to hone in on is like the fear of the unknown. And that's always just kind of looming over everything, even like when you are watching them transcribe these and then also watching the actual like scenes. Like there's just so much that's happening that you can't see it all, and it feels like they're shining a spotlight on the smallest, most insignificant part almost, while you witness everything else kind of like fall into place almost immediately, and it like surprises you when it actually comes to fruition.
Yeah. Wagner Moura in this movie he's fantastic.
Dang.
I can't even put it into words. He's just so great in this movie. He's doing essentially 3 different roles. He's playing like a younger version, an older version, and then like the guy's grandson or son or something like that way down the line. It's such an interesting choice because he's doing double duty. He's pulling 2 roles in this movie. I think it's such a fantastic choice to have him basically be 2 different characters, but they're related. The dad was secret agent. Name drop. But his son's just a doctor. And his son's like, yeah, well, I don't know anything. I really don't know anything about him. I just thought that was such an interesting juxtaposition.
It's almost like you got him, I don't know, it feels like you got him to kind of explore what the people around him would think of this character, and being able to allow it to all be in the same actor's head really just kind of like allows cohesion, and like you still have to write it, but it's a lot easier to fill in the gaps when you just have to focus on one person doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably that's a good place if we want to maybe wrap it up and maybe give our final Oscar rankings, unless you have something else you may want to add.
I just want to touch on the cinematography for just a second.
Yeah.
That it was just so well shot with all the like tracking shots and like, like the ways in which they like were able to be creative with the framing. Like there's so many different like technical aspects at play that really just kind of like make for this house of iron cards.
Exactly. And the cinematography in this movie is really great, and I think it has a very distinct visual language and it just really kind of gets you. I've never been to Brazil. I've never grown up in the 70s, but you feel like you've been there once you're in this movie. It feels like a very distant memory, which I guess probably touches on the themes of this movie.
I'm not from there, but I know my way around.
Okay, do you want to talk about our final? You want to rank them?
Yes. I've been looking forward to this since episode 1.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, can we start at the bottom?
Yeah, I'll start at. Do you want to go one at a time, or do you want to go your top 10? I'll do my top 10.
I say we can do whatever you want.
Let's go one at a time.
Okay. I'm going to go at my 10. I got F1.
I agree. I also have F1. This movie blows. It's so boring.
Yeah. And then for my 9 position, this is honestly, F1 was the only one I was really no-brainer on. I might have to go Frankenstein. I might have to put Frankenstein here.
I know that hurts you a little bit.
I took some psychic damage, but I'm willing to admit that while I love Frankenstein and I love Guillermo del Toro, it's up against a lot of fantastic picks.
At my number 9 spot, I have Train Dreams. I thought this movie was boring for no good reason, and it's just a clip show. Just keep it plain and simple.
I think for my number 8, I'm going to have to go with Train Dreams. While I did love it, it was very beautifully shot, and William H. Macy gave a fantastic performance, but I do understand the criticism of it not necessarily feeling like a lot happens. And I think that, once again, all great movies. They're all great movies. But Train Dreams just kind of falls flat in comparison.
Yeah. At my number 8 spot, I got Frankenstein. I just thought, you can see our other episode if you want to hear my full thoughts on Frankenstein. Do you have your number 7?
My number 7, this is going to probably be where I put Sinners. Once again, that movie, very culturally impactful. But I feel like a lot of these movies have something to say about the world, minus Marty Supreme. But I just feel that Sinners kind of falls with like its technical aspects. I think it's very well written. And I like, obviously Michael B. Jordan's a very good character in this movie, but when it's stacked up against all of these, I think it kind of is middle of the road for me.
Okay, at my number 7, I got Hamnet. I think it's I'd agree with Dixon, but with Hamnet, I just think it is probably middle of the road of the good movies.
At number 6, I'm gonna have to put Hamnet. It was kind of up in the air with Hamnet and Sinners for me, but kind of just as we get higher in the list, it just gets harder and harder and harder to actually like put all of these movies in a power ranking because they all have different aspects that I enjoy about them.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked on how low you have Sinners, considering how high I have it in comparison. But at my number 6, I have Sentimental Value. I think this was a great movie, just shy of the top 5 for me.
Yeah, this is probably where I'm going to put Begonia at number 5. I just think, that movie was very well shot. Emma Stone's great. Jesse Plemons is great. I think that I liked all the scenes about like his mom. So yeah, Begonia at 5.
I have Sinners at 5. I think, I think this is probably the quintessential Best Picture nom, I guess. It's a blockbuster. It's crowd pleasing. People are going to like it. And I think it's a solid movie.
Mm-hmm. So I think at my 4, I'm going to have to put Sentimental Value. I love a movie that makes me feel dirty, and makes me feel gross. And this one did all of that. But, kind of as I've said for pretty much every one of these movies, there's just, once you get closer to the topic, it's really hard to kind of discern exactly how to rank them.
At my number 4, I got Begonia. I don't really want to get too in depth. If you guys want to see our thoughts, you can probably you can go watch the other episodes.
Yeah. Should we just kind of like run through these last few?
I think we should.
Yeah. I mean, you guys should be watching every episode anyway.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go number 3 with Secret Agent. You just heard me talk about how much I love this movie.
Yeah, I'm also putting Secret Agent at number 3.
I think, honestly, we're probably going to agree on these top 3. I got Marty Supreme at number 2. We don't agree on these top 3, I fear. While it was a fantastic movie, I feel like One Battle was kind of able to touch. I liked that it also had a sort of, it had something to say about what's happening around us.
I have One Battle After Another at my number 2 spot. I think One Battle will probably win Best Picture. I think Marty Supreme is a better movie. And that hurts me to say because I love One Battle After Another, and I love Paul Thomas Anderson. But, man, Marty Supreme is Marty Supreme's that movie. It's the movie of the year.
I see where you're coming from. I have one battle at my one. It just had a little bit more to say about the political climate of the world, and I liked that. While Marty Supreme was great, I feel like one battle is as good with just a little more to say.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to episode 5 of Screening Out. This has been the conclusion of our Oscar series. We'll actually have one bonus for you guys, but we've covered all the Oscar Best Picture noms. You want to send us out?
Yeah, you know what? Thank you guys for joining us on this journey. You will continue to see us. We might take a week or two off, but we will be back sooner rather than later with even more excitement, even more movies. We can never talk about all the movies.
Yeah, but we'll try. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.